presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
Man, it feels great to be a Duck.
Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Their competitors, they'll want to put the O on.
Three, got it!
We're going to compete to a standard every day.
The Oregon standard.
Rebound. Up and in. 1 point more to go.
The opportunity to play, put Oregon on your chest, should mean a great deal to you.
Unloads on one into left field, back toward the wall. Gone!
This program is staged to compete and to win championships.
Oregon wins!
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, let's talk Oregon athletics.
Carlson, line drive, left field! See you in the Supers! Grand slam! Ariel Carlson, second home run of the inning! And it's high fives for version 5! Feeling super on the program today, folks. Welcome into the Country Financial Studio. Alex Simpson once again filling in for Joey, who was on the road. He was here earlier. Now he's not. He might be up above us. I don't know, but he's getting ready for the Pac-12 tournament after a big week for the Ducks on the Diamond down south in Fayetteville. Well, the other Ducks on the Diamond, Oregon baseball, getting ready for postseason plays. The Pac-12 tournament kicks off tomorrow. The Ducks opening things up against Cal. More on that later, though. We got to first talk about Oregon softball. What a weekend it was. The Ducks are headed to the Super Regional. Congratulations to Missy Lombardi and company. Version 5 goes into Fayetteville and comes out undefeated. 14-4, a run rule victory yesterday, capped off by a grand slam from the Eugene native Ariel Carlson, her second homer of that inning, by the way, which just blows the mind. Incredible performance as the Ducks advance. They eke out a nail-biter in Game 1 of the Regional against Notre Dame. It was full of rain delays, 5-4 victory. When it was all said and done, Stevie Hansen ultimately picked up the win. And then the next two games were never really that close as Oregon picks up the 10-4 victory in Game 2 of their Regional. They would await to see what would happen in the elimination game. They face off against Arkansas again, and they get that redemption from last season after their season ended a year ago in Fayetteville against that very same Arkansas squad. 14-4 was the final. Taya Bird, a huge performance throughout the Regional. Stevie Hansen picking up her 20th win to cap off the Regional. And now it's on to Stillwater and the Super Regionals as the Ducks will go to a best-of-3 series against the Oklahoma State Cowboys. There are your 16 teams that are advancing. 4 of those 16 teams from the Pac-12, by the way, more than any other conference, the Conference of Champions, of course. Ducks looking to head back to Oklahoma, or rather stay in Oklahoma, I should say, as if they pick up the regional or Super Regional win. Well, they won't have to travel far because obviously the College World Series hosted in Oklahoma City. Congratulations once again to Missy Lombardi and company. There's the schedule. You could see it Thursday, May 25th at 6 p.m. local time, 9 p.m. Eastern. That's on ESPN2 The Deuce. Same thing the following day on Friday, and if necessary, on Saturday. We'll see the times and where that'll be broadcasted as well. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. Hopefully the Ducks stay perfect in postseason play. But again, just what a weekend it was. Seeing the bats hot all weekend long. And the Ducks, well, their postseason run continues. We heard from Coach Missy Lombardi and a couple of Ducks players after that win. Some great stuff from Missy. A long, long post-game interview just talking about the road that it took just to get to this point and what it feels like to almost have the weight off of that shoulders. So let's not wait any further. Let's hear from Coach Lombardi after yesterday's big win, or this weekend's big win, as they advance to the Super Regionals.
First off, I would just like to say congratulations to Arkansas on an unbelievable year. When we heard our name called and knowing that we were going to have to come here, we knew it was going to be an absolutely tough regional. And I just appreciate their play. I appreciate just them, and I just want to congratulate them on a great year. Also, we're thankful for the hospitality. This is our second year in a row coming back, and we just are thankful for the hospitality. The atmosphere here is unbelievable. It's one of the best in softball. The fans and how they roar here and the appreciation that they have for softball. I would much rather playing in a venue like this where they're cheering against us than to play in an empty softball stadium where nobody is into it. So just love the environment and the atmosphere here. Last year, it didn't go our way. And I remember standing on the field with Allie Bunker and Tara McGowan, and we made a promise at that time to each other that this was happening for a reason and that this is what's going to drive us to next year and what we're going to do. So to be standing on that field and not getting what we wanted, but then to hear our name called and for us to come back here, it was a part of our journey. And we accepted it. I can't say enough how proud I am of our team. And just the fight that they gave, their grit, passing the bat, not just counting on one person to do it. It just was a total team effort, and I just can't say enough about this group.
If you could have scripted the next year, beginning with that moment, could it have gone any better than this?
No, I don't think so. We've been talking about a quote all weekend, and it's fate happens so redemption can follow. And I think ending last season with tears of sadness and, coming back here and then being on that same field with tears of joy was the way it was supposed to happen, and couldn't have written it better myself.
As a kid who grew up in Eugene, grew up watching this program, I mean, to come through for this program, provide a moment like this for your teammates, for yourself, for the program, what does this all mean to you?
Yeah, it's a surreal feeling. I grew up watching Oregon softball. I grew up watching Coach Reagan play all of my favorite players, and it was a dream to be able to come here. And then I just wanted to be able to do it for the girls after me, and then for my girls that I'm playing around every single day. So it's one of the best feelings I've ever had.
So last year, I mean, not only did y'all, was it a flip fortune of y'all winning here, but also just this, it was a similar fashion that Arkansas just had 2 big innings last year to blow things open. This year in the 5th inning of both games, y'all really opened the door. Just how nice was it to, once again respond after things got tight and have such a big inning?
Yeah, I think the big difference for us this weekend was we were treating every inning like the 7th inning. So as soon as they put runs on the board, we had faith that we were going to get them back. We had great energy in the dugout. Stevie pitched a heck of a game on the mound, and we just passed the bat really well.
We've talked about responding all year. That's something that we've talked about in just having a postseason mentality, and I think that's what we were able to do when they got on the board early. There wasn't one person that was afraid that we were going to be able to come back. So,
in specific, you had just a phenomenal weekend. Just what was your mentality going into this regional, and with all these games y'all have played over the past few days, how have you been able to stay that locked in?
Yeah, just keeping things simple. Over the years, I've gotten to really know myself as a player, and I have a tendency to overthink a little bit. So kind of just knowing that and just freeing myself up and just going up there and taking it one pitch at a time and just see ball, hit ball. That's really all I'm thinking.
You've talked all year about that postseason mentality. Is there an example of a moment, an inning, a point, whatever this weekend when you feel like you really felt that payoff, that like, hey, last year we felt different in this situation, and right now we just feel like we've put ourselves in this spot all year, and therefore we're comfortable with it?
I would say probably yesterday when it became a tight game. I think it was tied at one point, or we were even behind. Just having faith, trusting the process, and we've been treating every weekend like postseason. So we came back from being behind in previous weekends. So just sticking with what we know.
Ariel, a couple of weeks ago, you talked about how you were hitting a higher average, but your power wasn't quite there, and it was almost like you flipped a switch from that moment. And you were just saying you know yourself really well. Did you expect to have the power numbers kind of go up at that moment too, or is this just kind of, the fruit of positive thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the biggest things about the game is you have days where the ball looks massive and days where it looks like the size of a ping pong ball. And I think just sticking with the process and working hard and going back to just what I do best and watching old videos of myself and just being able to find that again and get that feeling. I think you just need to feel it one time for it to just everything else to fall in place.
And then Tara, the team overall, this was kind of a flipping the script from last year. You guys were kind of in the same situation. The games got close, but then they pulled away. This year, the games got close and you guys pulled away. Could you just speak to how you think that kind of represents the team, the difference and kind of getting over that hurdle that the team wasn't able to do before?
Yeah, I think kind of what I said earlier, treating every inning like the 7th inning, not letting up off the gas pedal. Even when we got ahead, we wanted more, and knowing what we wanted and knowing how to get it was definitely what set us apart this year.
Tara, how much has this burned inside of you for the last year, going back to the regional, but also going back to last June? And what does this feel like when you guys are moving on and UCLA isn't?
Honestly, I haven't really thought about anything this weekend other than the people beside me. It's been a journey since version 1. And, Kate and I really wanted to do this for Coach more than we wanted to do it for ourselves. So just continuing with that going forward, focus on the people around you and nothing around the outside noise matters.
And Ariel, Rob touched on it a bit, talking about being from Eugene and what it means to you. You come in at a time where the program is still in transition, and it was a rough year the year before, and then COVID hits. To have this moment and to have this number of RBIs, I mean, it's the most RBIs since Gwen in 2015. What is a first career grand slam and a walk-off and all that, just the magnitude of it mean to you?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's one of the best feelings I've ever had, being able to do it for the seniors and just the girls around me. I grew up being a Duck. I was a Duck before I even started playing softballs, and that I'll be a Duck when I finish. I will always love this university, and yeah, that's all I really have to say. It's just one of the best feelings.
Hear Tara say, more than anything, we wanted to do it for Coach. What does that mean to you about just the connection you've got with these guys?
Just we're connected. I'll be connected to these guys far longer than when this is done. It's just more about what we do on the field. We do life together, and there's times where things go our way and things don't go our way, but it's about, do you guys stick together and get through it? And that's what I'm so proud of them, is that they've just stuck through it.
Comment about, in the past, she's overthought things. And Taya kind of said the same thing the other day when she was talking about long at bats, how it, she used to wonder, how do I get myself out of it? She kind of flipped that to, this is an opportunity to have, players who are progressing through their careers start to feel more comfortable and feel like you've helped them develop that way. How fun a part of the journey is that?
I think it's the best part. These guys come into our program as young girls, and it's my job to, and our coach's job to help them transform into young women on the field, off the field, to be decisive with their decisions, to trust who they are and that what they have is good enough in any situation. And we're watching Ariel transform.
More from them coming after the break. It's tough not to kind of get emotional kind of hearing from that. A little bit biased, obviously, sitting in this chair, but just hearing some of those answers. Hearing now Tara McGowan and the players talking about Missy Lombardi and just building the program back up to get to this point. Hearing some of the quotes, too, just thinking about just a year prior. Allie Bunker, Tara McGowan, and Coach Lombardi just sitting there on that field reflecting and understanding what needs to be taken from that moment to get to where they are now. We've heard Coach Lombardi and the team talk about all season long finding everybody's why they play softball, why they're doing what they're doing, and it's great to see the fruits of that labor and come to fruition here. So congratulations to Coach Lombardi and the Oregon softball team as they advance to Super Regionals. And we got more coming up as we're going to take a quick break here from the Country Financial Studio. You'll hear more from those three. Oregon baseball coming up throughout the show as well, and more after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield. This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can go out and make memories that make summer, summer. Like catching a road game in a RAV4. I got it.
Toyota, let's go places. Participating dealers only. Event ends May 31st. Dealer inventory may vary.
Hey, Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can go out and make memories that make summer, summer. Like catching a road game in a RAV4. I got it.
Toyota, let's go places. Participating dealers only. Event ends May 31st. Dealer inventory may vary.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider here in the Country Financial Studio. Alex Stimson still keeping the seat warm here for Joey Mack, who's on the road getting ready for Pac-12 tournament time as Oregon baseball kicks things off tomorrow against Cal. But we still got more softball to cover. As, of course, Oregon softball picking up the regional win down in Fayetteville, some revenge from last year, and now looking for maybe a little revenge from earlier this year as they head to Stillwater to take on the Oklahoma State Cowgirls, and falling to Oklahoma State earlier this year 3-0. I imagine that still might be on the mind. But before we look ahead, let's quickly recap the weekend. Here's the rest of the post-game interview from Oregon's regional win.
Yeah, just like I mentioned, how last year it was just almost eerily similar, exactly how y'all flipped the script. And to hear Tara say that just approached every inning like the seventh inning, will you just speak overall on the team's growth since that regional last year?
I think the biggest thing was just understanding that you have to have a postseason mentality, and it's not when you get to postseason. It starts well before that, and just walking away from here last year and not getting what we wanted, when you don't get what you want, it forces you to take a look at things and see how do we need to go about it differently. And that's where we started. These guys were totally different in the summer with their lifting and the things that they did. They came back in the fall and just mindset was different. It was different, to play in postseason, you've got to be able to be great and you've got to be able to be clutch, and you can't allow a moment to get too big for you. And they've just been working on it since last year at this time.
I don't know, last year it was tough to leave the stadium with a loss, and this year it's Courtney. It was tough for her to see her team go down. I know that y'all were assistants at Oklahoma together. Would you just speak kind of on that relationship, what it's been like to come back here and coach against each other?
Courtney is a very, very good friend of mine. I love Courtney. I think she's an amazing person. She's an amazing mom and coach. What she's done here is just unbelievable. I mean, you look at the crowds and you look at what is here, and it's because of her and her impact that she's had. It stinks when you have to go play your friend because one of us has to walk away happy and one of us, has to walk away the opposite. But I don't know. I think we've both been doing this long enough to know that it's just, there's sometimes you could do everything right and not get exactly what you want, or, it's just, that's sports for you. So I think the most important thing all of us can do is to put everything we've got out there. And if we do, and it goes our way, great. If we don't, then it wasn't a part of our journey. So I just appreciate her and everything that she's done for the sport and what she does here at Arkansas.
Coach, I talked to you early in the season, and you said that you thought the power was going to show up this year. It was going to be different than it was in years past, and you told me to be looking for that. Was this kind of what you expected, where the power is going to show up in those clutch moments? I mean, it's shown up, but it's not just showing up, but it's been particularly when it was needed most. Is this kind of that roadmap that you had and you were envisioning?
Yes, I knew they had it in them. It's just, sometimes you just, have to go about your journey a certain way and trust that things are going to show up when they need to show up. And I think that's what happened. These guys kept trusting and understand that in order for us to do what we need to do, it can't just take a couple. We can't just rely on Tara. We can't just rely on Bunk. Everybody has to have their hand in this.
And you've talked about the culture, building the culture. And, 5 years ago, you tried to create the culture. These seniors have been the foundation of that culture, but, they're now doing things that you haven't done before. They're kind of setting that bar and raising it even higher, going to a super regional now. Can you just talk about, and I guess you talked about it, but just kind of that progression? They came in, they did things that they hadn't done. They got their minds right and not just their bodies. They've just focused in all phases of the game, and it's been off the field as well. Is that something that you've seen other successful teams have, or, how unique is this group, I guess is my question.
This senior class is really, really special. All 5 of them are. And their biggest thing is that they're when they were to walk away from this program, they're going to walk away and make it better than it was when they first got here, and they've done that. We've got a lot to do. This is a first big step for us. Now it's the opportunity to go to what's next into a super regional. So we've got a lot more to do, and I think these guys are really in a good place.
Missy, what was the key this entire weekend to improving against left-handers, where it wasn't just one person? It was both yesterday and today. I mean, Ariel homers a whole bunch, but Paige multiple times against lefties. Kai getting an RBI against lefties. I mean, things that you guys hadn't done all year against lefties, you guys did against some really top left-handers the past 2 days. What was the key to getting that done?
I think these guys did a really good job at the plate. I thought that Coach Marty did a good job of preparing them, regardless if they're right-handed or left-handed. They prepared us for the opposing pitchers, and these guys were ready to go. I thought they did a good job of staying on time and swinging at pitches in the zone.
At what point in this year, Missy, did you know? It's one thing to speak it into existence, to believe in it, to project confidence to a team. When did you know this team was going to be capable of going on the road and doing this in this kind of a setting?
Again, I think it's just trusting in our journey. I don't think there's ever one pivotal moment. I think there's a lot of pivotal moments throughout the year. And you could see that happening for us. I think the biggest thing that this group could do was just trust their journey, trust each other, and to keep competing.
And for the two seniors who were here since version 1 in particular, and I realize Kate was as well, but for Bunk and Tara, how do you encapsulate their part of this in this journey and where things were in 2019 and how dire things were, and for them to see both extremes of it? How do you encapsulate what they were able to do and how important they were to all this?
They've been great. They've been doing exactly what seniors, elders are supposed to do, and that's to be leaders on and off the field, to have the ability to clutch up, to create confidence amongst our group, to create a culture that's stable. When things are going great, it's great, but when things aren't going our way, that's when you have to really understand that we need to have a good culture and stick together and work through it, and understand that you have to work through adversity to get what you need to get. I think they've done a great job of that for all 4 years, all 5 years. Yeah.
Coach, congratulations. I know it's about the players in the program, but what does this mean for you personally as a head coach, winning your first regional as a head coach, and with your staff, with Sam and the rest of the staff, and what you've all gone through and to get to this point?
I'm extremely proud of this team. I'm extremely proud of my coaching staff. These guys are excellent. They're unbelievable in what they do. The preparation that they came into this weekend with, but it's just not only what they do on the field, it's what they do off the field. The relationships they build, the communication that they have. Our athletes trust them. Every one of my staff coaches have played at the highest level and either won a national championship, Pac-12 championship, or been standing at the College World Series. And it was important to me to surround our athletes with those types of coaches that have been there and have done it, but then also to really know how to connect and to love on these guys. And I can't say enough about them as well.
You now will get ready to go to a super regional regardless of the opponent. What do you hope that your players take from this weekend moving forward to the supers?
Just to continue to trust in what they're doing, to continue to play for us, to continue to battle adversity, to continue to compete to the highest level. And, we talked about coming here and walking away, emptying the tank. Regardless if we won or lost, we were going to empty the tank here, and they did that. So I'd be doing the same thing.
They certainly did empty the tank. Again, run rule victory to cap off a really impressive regional. The Ducks going 3-0 and punching their ticket to the Supers, one of 16 teams remaining standing in NCAA Division I softball. And again, a quarter of those teams coming from the Pac-12. So they'll face off in Stillwater against the Oklahoma State Cowboys, a team that they had already faced earlier this year, just south of the border. A 3-0 loss, a close one that was tied up 0-0 all the way until the 5th. That's when Oklahoma State got all 3 of their runs. And ultimately OSU able to scrape out the win. But it's time for redemption for them once more after avenging last year's loss to Arkansas. Another chance for the Ducks here as they head to the Supers. Best of luck. That gets underway on Thursday on ESPN2. We're going to step aside for another break here from the Country Financial Studio. When we get back, we'll have more Oregon baseball coming up as Joey Mack was in the studio. More after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield. This is Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, OnPoint proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. OnPoint Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Ready for our little forest adventure?
Yes! So much waiting for me. Yeah, I wanna go outside. I wanna be.
We're here.
Whoa, that was fast.
There's a forest closer than you think. Find a park or forest near you and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by USDA Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. Joey Mack should be just about taking off right now, or maybe just putting his bag into the overhead carriage bin. But he was in here earlier, and we sat down for a long time as we pivot from one diamond sport to another. We talked about Oregon softball and their postseason run continuing. Oregon baseball, their postseason run just about to start as the Pac-12 tournament begins down in Arizona tomorrow. We talked about that with Joey Mack and a whole host of Oregon baseball stuff. Here's that interview. Well, this is a bit awkward because
this is great.
I'm sitting here and I'm talking to Joey Mack, who's sitting there.
This
Joey
is
Mack,
so much fun.
How's it feel? How are you? Did you get running water over the weekend? We have so much to discuss. How are things?
Things are great. Shout out to this guy, to Alex Simpson.
Stop it.
He's filling in on the show. So we're recording this in the morning. As this airs, I, along with our guy Steve Stolp, from the Jaquist Center.
Yeah,
currently
Steve's great. Advisor for the baseball team.
That's right. Currently flying out to Scottsdale. It's Pac-12 tournament time, so thanks to Alex, OSN Emeritus, for coming off the bench. This is great. Former voice of Oregon baseball.
Former A voice in semi-professional cup snacker,
yeah, but
if
like,
you may remember.
This is great. Like, this is what we got a tweet from a fan who always has loved your work in Rich. And he was like, we should do a weekly segment where we bring Alex back on the show. And then he was like, we should also bring Jordan back on the show. And I was like, man, all these people that have moved on in their careers to bigger and better things, I got to keep throwing that fishing line out to you. You know, I'm just reeling you back in.
Just reel me in.
Reeling you back in. So, in any case, thanks for doing this. Thanks for being here. It is Pac-12 tournament time. I wish that I was hosting the show today. No offense to you.
That hurts, but it's fine.
Because that would mean that the Ducks were a 1, 2, or 3 seed instead of a 6 seed in the Pac-12 tournament. But the way that it broke, the Ducks are playing tomorrow at 7 o'clock, so things are a little bit different. Yeah, so Arizona State in Game 1 of Pool Pool B play. UCLA, USC, the 7 versus the 4. Arizona, Arizona State's the 8 versus the 5, 2:30. And then Cal, Oregon, 7 o'clock on Tuesday. The Ducks will also play Stanford in their pool at 7 o'clock on Thursday. So it's a round robin. The way that this tournament works is you want to win your pool by going 2-0. But say every team goes 1-1, and there's 9 1-1 teams in round robin pool play. The tiebreaker is all about the seeding. So the regular season really matters. And that's why, for me, I was really watching the Arizona State-UCLA game at the end of the regular season on Saturday after Oregon beat Utah. The Ducks needed Arizona State to lose in order for the Ducks to be the 5 seed. Well, that could end up being the difference. Say Arizona State, the 5, goes 1-1, Oregon goes 1-1. There are 4 teams that advance. It's all the pool winners, so in theory, the teams that go 2-0, or it's the teams that are all 1-1, and then the high seed gets the tiebreaker. So in theory, if you're the Ducks and you go 1-1, and Arizona State also goes 1-1, well, then Arizona State is the wild card team that advances. So the seeds do matter. The regular season matters. The mission for the Ducks is just to win your pool. If you do that, Oregon over Cal, Oregon over Stanford, the team that won the league, but Oregon beat them in a series earlier this year. The Ducks have actually beaten Stanford in series the last 2 years, so maybe it sets up well for the Ducks. They have series wins over both of their opponents from the Bay Area in Cal and Stanford. So 7 o'clock Tuesday, 7 o'clock Thursday. That's why we won't have a Duck Insider the rest of the week, because the tournament schedule is just all over the place. Did you even ask me a question yet?
No, but you kind of covered all the questions I really had for you. So, guy's a consummate pro. Great work, Joey.
I just went with the bracket. Yeah. This is weird. I feel like it's the football coaches show, because that's the only show that I sit in this chair for. Because Jerry and Jorgie are always at the desk. So I need to just hold this just to make me feel better.
Really ties it together over there. I mean, you feel weird there. I feel weird here just in general. You sitting there just kind of adds to the weirdness. It's a weird Monday. But looking ahead to the tournament as you hold on to the football helmet, let's talk about the Ducks and how they performed this last weekend. Entering the weekend, as we discussed earlier, Ducks entered on a bit of a skid. You didn't have any running water in Utah. It was just a tough scene all around, but they got the train back on the tracks. And as we talked last week, we talked about these long road trips as it extends into postseason play could be kind of a galvanizing moment. So from what you saw out in Salt Lake City, just on a big macro sense, what were your takeaways from that weekend against the Utes?
1, running water did return. A lot of people asked me about that, actually, after you mentioned it on the show.
They were concerned.
The Ducks did have running water at their hotel, can confirm. So that was cool. But, yeah, I actually think that the long road trip was really valuable, because minor league baseball, even Major League Baseball, they'll have those multi-series road trips. That's sort of what this felt like. I was unique, actually. I came back to do this segment with Alex today before flying back to Scottsdale. The team flew from Scottsdale, or to Scottsdale from Salt Lake City. So I think that it kind of had like a minor league baseball feel. I actually asked Waz that on the air. And Waz was like, I hope so. I hope the guys feel like this is minor league baseball. So I think that there is something to be said for that. I think that the way that Oregon played at Utah, they needed a get-right game. And I think they got that in large part because of Turner Spoljaric's performance on Friday in the second game of the series. So Jay Stoffel, 3rd straight week that he was not in the weekend rotation. He was on the trip. We'll see if he pitches in Scottsdale. It was good to see Austin Anderson back, the reliever who had been out since late April. It was good to see Austin Anderson back. He had a .56 ERA entering the weekend, now at like .9 after giving up a run. But still, that's a ridiculous ERA. And so I thought that Oregon got a big start from Turner Spoljaric. And in some ways, the team won't say this, but I'll say this. That might have been a season-saving performance from Turner Spoljaric. If the Ducks had lost to Utah, the Oregon was on a streak of losing 8 of 9 heading into that game. Turner Spoljaric gives a career-long outing, by far the career best start for Turner Spoljaric, and I felt like that was a huge moment. Now, Oregon's offense had kind of just done what it had been doing, but when you give up double-digit runs in 7 of 10 games and you lose 8 of 9 over that same stretch, one less game stretch, it's hard on the offense to score that many runs. The other thing that happened on Thursday, the Ducks committed a season-high 4 errors. The defense was way better. Sabine Ceballos made a diving play at third. Gavin Grant made a diving play at second base, a sliding play. The outfield played really well. One coming in dive from Tanner Smith. I mean, I thought that the defense was way better. Turner Spoljaric was way better. And I think those things, it's a cycle, right? Like when you have a pitcher who's throwing strikes and is working with tempo, your defense tends to play better. When your pitcher's walking a bunch of guys, your defense, I know coaches will hate this, but sometimes your defense kind of sags to sleep a little bit. And I thought that maybe kind of happened on Thursday. So Oregon has the get-right game. The Ducks win 9-1, and then Matthew Grabman took the formula from Turner Spoljaric and performed really well. So the two Canadian freshman starting pitchers, by far their best career outings. If the Ducks get that in the postseason, then look out, because if Jay Stoffel can come back, Isaac Aon, the Ducks were hopeful he was going to pitch against Utah and make his season debut. He did have a setback, Mark Wasikowski said. I don't know if he's going to pitch in Scottsdale. He did not come with the Ducks to Utah. I don't know if he'll pitch in the Pac-12 tournament. We'll find out probably tomorrow. I thought that the pitching really stepped up for the Ducks. And so if that's the momentum that Oregon needs heading into postseason from the pitching, then I think Oregon's really dangerous, because the Ducks have been one of the best offensive teams on the West Coast and really in the country all season long. So if the offense gets that support from good pitching, it wasn't just that Oregon was playing the worst team in the league. I think that Oregon did perform much, much better. Now they need to do it, though, on a Tuesday against Cal.
Yeah, it really felt like, as you were saying, Turner Spoljaric's start was just a catalyst to kind of flip the switch across the spectrum. And then you saw the offensive performance the next day, the pitching performance by Matthew Grabman. Make sure you keep the feng shui right there. Thank you very much. Just an impressive way to finish over the final 48 hours of the regular season. So we now pivot back to postseason play. You mentioned Cal and Stanford, two teams the Ducks faced, had some success against Stanford, the #1 seed. Just diving a little bit deeper on those matchups. Keys to success, you obviously hope to get Jay Stoffel back. We'll see, but assuming he's not, assuming you got to go with the guys that you have, keys to success for the Ducks, they look to get out of pool play, and then after that, we'll see what happens.
I think that in Scottsdale in particular, the way that stadium is set up, defense is paramount. Arizona, the ball tends to bounce in the infield. I think infield play is really, really important. Pitching is important. I don't know who's going to start on Tuesday. Maybe it is Logan Mercado in a Tuesday situation. I don't know. So I think that the starting pitching, though, is really, really important. And, you know, Mark Wasikowski said that when Turner Spoljaric got the ball, everyone was available in Game 2 against Utah. Like, they were treating it like a postseason must-win game. And in some ways it might have been. You know, like, maybe Oregon would have gotten into the tournament anyway, the NCAA tournament anyway, with a series loss at Utah. But I think that Oregon confirmed that the Ducks will go to an NCAA regional with a win over Utah. That's just my opinion, kind of looking at the tea leaves and seeing how things have shaped up around the country. And you know, looking at the RPI, Oregon's consistently been one of the top 3 RPI teams on the West Coast. That's still true heading into the Pac-12 tournament. So to me, keys to success are exactly what flipped against Utah in games 2 and 3. And that's a good pitching performance, limiting walks, and then it's really good defense, particularly in the infield in Arizona. Against Cal, Oregon actually kept the Golden Bear offense in check pretty well in Berkeley. Kretschmar is one of the better hitters in the conference, and his numbers actually have gone down since Oregon played Cal. So I wonder if maybe the Ducks gave the blueprint of a scouting report of how to keep him at bay. They do have a guy at the top of their order, their center fielder, Rodney Green. He is really fast. You got to keep him off the bases. I think that's key against Cal. Then against Stanford, Oregon got maybe its 2 best pitching performances of the entire year back-to-back from Jay Stoffel and Logan Mercado. Yep. Back-to-back complete game performances. Jay Stoffel was the Pac-12 pitcher of the week that week. Logan Mercado actually executed by the Ducks metrics. Logan Mercado actually executed his pitches at a higher percentage than Jay Stoffel did. And Logan gave up 1 run in that game to Stanford. Stanford's lineup is very experienced and very long. They tend to swing at the first pitch often. To me, it's about getting ahead in the count and not just throwing the piped fastball at the belt to try to get ahead in the count. I think it's really executing pitches early in the count that was the key against Stanford previously. I think that's the key again in this situation. And then Oregon's offense has to keep doing what it's been doing. You know, the Ducks have scored at a very high clip. They've been very efficient offensively. I think that needs to continue. That's a lot of keys.
Some good keys. Pac-12 tournament you can watch on the Pac-12 networks. You can listen to Joey on the call. He's got a flight to catch later today. You can listen to it on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield. Tuesday and Thursday, the pool games, both at 7 o'clock. And then if the Ducks go 2-0, they know they've punched their ticket into the semifinals. Joey, before we let you go, since you got to get out of here, just quickly, did you get a chance to watch any softball this weekend? How cool was that?
Oh, so awesome. Congratulations to Missy Lombardi and her team. How cool is it? Yeah, that's right. I can't clap because I've got – I never broke this glove in. The Nike glove, like I can barely
You're putting forth a good
ball.
effort right now.
Like, look at this. Those of you that are watching, this is as much as I can close this glove. Anyway. This is why I can see why now. He picked this up last time he was in the studio and was like,
"What is this?
I'm putting this back." Congratulations to Coach Lombardi. That's so cool. I thought it was awesome to see the local Eugene native Ariel Carlson come through in those big spots. I mean, you hit 2 home runs in an inning. That's crazy. But a run rule win, that was so cool. Shout out to Knight Uretsky, who was on the call. I know you heard it earlier on the show. Awesome job. And inside the broadcast a little bit, I want everybody to appreciate this. KWVA did every softball game that was played in the United States this year. They weren't able to make the trip to Mexico to start the season. But Ryan Milano was on the call for all of those. Ryan has been under the weather. He wasn't able to make the trip. So Knight, having called a handful of softball games, went, and I thought he did a great job.
Yep.
I listened to Knight for the entirety of the game actually yesterday in the run rule win, and I thought Knight did a great job. It's awesome that we have KWVA. I hope Duck fans recognize that having them, that organization for the hometown call is so cool. So cool. And they're going to make the trip again to Super Regionals. I thought that it was truly, in some ways, magical and movie script-wise, because Arkansas was the opponent for the Ducks last year in Fayetteville. Didn't go Oregon's way. I love what you heard earlier. What Coach Lombardi said, that she remembers standing on the field and being like, could have had that one with Allie Bunker and Tara McGowan. And then they did get that one in Fayetteville. So congratulations to them. I hope that they spend a long time in Oklahoma. I happen to know that the plan is that the Ducks, after going to Stillwater, hopefully getting a win over Oklahoma State, they would stay in Oklahoma for the Women's College World Series. Coach Lombardi normally talks with us here on Tuesdays, and she's not able to do it tomorrow. And then with the Pac-12 baseball tournament, we don't have a show. So I already told her, we'll be on Zoom. Yeah, we'll get you on Zoom next week. So cool for that.
Postseason Ducks on the diamond. Speaking of which, again, Joey's got to get out of here. Joey, thanks for letting me fill in, sit in, keep the seat warm for you. Safe travels. Hope there's running water out there as well.
Thanks,
Bring
buddy.
home a couple of W's and maybe a conference title, huh?
Thanks, buddy. Alex Stimson, everybody.
He wasn't kidding. This thing is – we got to work on this thing. We'll work on that in the break. And with that, we are going to take a break. We're going to step aside here from the Country Financial Studio. When we get back, we'll talk more Oregon baseball and some breaking news regarding baseball coming across the wire. But I'm going to keep you waiting. More on this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield. This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can go out and make memories that make summer, summer. Like catching a road game in a RAV4. I got it.
Toyota, let's go places. Participating dealers only. Event ends May 31st. Dealer inventory may vary.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, OnPoint proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. OnPoint Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can go out and make memories that make summer, summer. Like catching a road game in a RAV4. I got it.
Toyota, let's go places. Participating dealers only. Event ends May 31st. Dealer inventory may vary.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You're not too cool for me. And in return, I reciprocate that sentiment. I'll never be too cool for you. I was a man with a plan, but now I'm a dad with a decree, and you can't take that from me. Please let it be noted that I told my job they can dock my pay. Right now, it's just too important to take you to school every day. I want to be legendary for you. I want you to puff out your chest when you go to school, the same way I do. I walk taller because of you, because I found everything to live for.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio as we keep chugging along. A big week on the diamond for the Ducks. We already talked a lot about the Oregon softball team heading off to Super Regionals after a dominant performance out in Fayetteville, avenging last year's loss to the Razorbacks and ending up sweeping them in those two games, including a 14-4 run rule victory, capped off by a walk-off grand slam. Does it get any better? The answer is no, it doesn't get any better. It's pretty sweet. And now some weekly honors rolling out, courtesy of the Pac-12. This is just across the wire. Let me just... Turner Spoljaric, Pac-12 Pitcher of the Week. Congratulations to him. Well-deserved as Turner Spoljaric turned in, by all accounts, the best start of his young career. Just a freshman. He's now the 5th Duck this year to win Pac-12 Pitcher of the Week. Even despite all the injuries that the Ducks have had, they've had some stellar pitching performances. Jay Stoffel, of course, has headlined a lot of those, but Logan Mercado getting Pac-12 Pitcher of the Week once. We saw Matt Dallas, the very first, I believe, Duck to get it this season, and now Turner Spoljaric, the latest to get it. And his start came on Friday in the penultimate game of the season for the Ducks as they snapped that skid they were on against Utah, picking up the win. Spoljaric going 7 innings strong, allowing just 1 run on 5 hits to lead Oregon to a 9-1 win over conference rival Utah. And we heard from Turner Spoljaric briefly after the game. Here he is.
I thought it went well, obviously. I pitched. I tried to compete to my best ability. We needed some innings eaten, so I tried to just eat up as many as I could. And I tried to ask for another, but it's all right. I got my guy in the last 7th there, but I was just attacking the zone, trying to pitch to contact and let my defense work, and they did a great job behind me.
It was great to see the emotion and the fire of Spoljaric. He worked himself out of some jams as well and showed a lot of poise for a team that needed it on the mound, especially coming from a true freshman, one of quite a few good true freshmen that the Oregon pitching staff has boasted this season when they've really needed them. So again, congratulations to Turner as he picks up Pac-12 Pitcher of the Week after his stellar career best start as Oregon picked up the win. That win evened the series against the Utes, but there was still work to be done. And work was done. On the final game of the regular season, the Ducks picked up another big win. Impressive pitching performance from another freshman, Matthew Grabman, and then exceptional offense scoring in the first inning, the second, the third, the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th. Sustained offense. The Oregon offense has been a force to be reckoned with all season long, and that continued as they capped it off in a big way to pick up the win over Utah. They finished the regular season 33-20. After that final game of the regular season, we heard from Coach Waz.
Probably our best team game of the year. And, the last 2 days, we probably played 2 of our best games of the year, which is great. Our backs were against the wall. We got tremendous pitching. Credit Coach Angier. And pulling together a lot of young guys out there, and to have Matthew Grabman today do what he did, giving the ball off to 2 freshmen, Dylan McShane, and before that, Grayson Grensel, who's been tremendous. They continue to improve, which was great. That's just what we are looking for, and just felt that it was really, to see Drew Calley do what he did. Bennett Thompson was tremendous today, just absolutely fantastic performance. And we had guys picking each other up throughout the course of the day, the last 2 days. Just excited to get down to Scottsdale. We know that our backs are against the wall in terms of just, hey, we always need to play that way with that urgency, and we're looking forward to getting down there to Scottsdale and putting a great product out on the field for the people of Scottsdale, Arizona.
So the Ducks picking up their 33rd win of the season. They're searching for their third straight season with at least 35 wins. They'll head to the Pac-12 tournament looking to get those 2 wins to get to 35 in pool play. They finished 16-14 in Pac-12 play. That is good for the 6th seed. And despite some late season struggles here, the Ducks are still looking pretty solid in terms of their NCAA tournament picture, but would still love to lock that up by at least clinching a spot in the semis. Now looking at that Pac-12 tournament bracket, we talked about it with Joey Mack earlier. Let's take a look at it again once more as it gets underway May 23rd. That is tomorrow. On Tuesday, the Ducks playing in the late games on the 23rd and on the 25th. They'll have an off day on Wednesday. They open up tournament play against the Cal Bears, a team that they took a series against in Berkeley earlier this season. And then they'll face off against number 1 seed Stanford on Thursday. And that's a team that they also took a series against. You heard Joey Mack talk about it as well. Some stellar pitching performances from Jay Stoffel and Logan Mercado in that series. If Stoffel wouldn't have won Pac-12 Pitcher of the Week that week, Logan Mercado would have been a shoo-in to do exactly that. So really excited to see how the Ducks fare in postseason play as they get it underway. All of those games will be available on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield with Joey Mack on the call. And, of course, you can watch on the Pac-12 networks as well. Excited to see hopefully some momentum continue to build after they snap that skid and hopefully getting things right here as they head into postseason play. Going to step aside here one more time here on Duck Insider. When we get back, we'll talk a little Oregon women's golf and then get ready for some more action on the diamond for the Ducks. This is Duck Insider and the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, OnPoint proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. OnPoint Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
To your children's eyes to see the true magic of a forest. It's a storybook world for them. You look and see a tree. They see the wrinkled face of a wizard with arms outstretched to the sky. They see treasure in pebbles. They see a windy path that could lead to adventure. And they see you, their fearless guide through this fascinating world.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. We've talked a lot of diamond sports today, and rightfully so, right? Postseason starting for one, postseason continuing for another. But we're going to cap today's show mainly talking a little golf. And want to issue a huge congratulations to Cynthia Liu of the women's golf program, who is starting her professional career. She announced today that she is moving on from her collegiate career and becoming a pro, and well, she accomplished just about everything you could while she was here on campus at the University of Oregon. She put out a great statement today saying, quote, "Being a professional golfer is something I've dreamed of for over 12 years. I can't believe it's come true as I embark on this new life journey. They say time flies when you're having fun, and my journey with the University of Oregon has been unforgettable. Still remember the day I committed. I was incredibly excited, nervous, and didn't know what to expect. This program under Coach Radley and Coach Monica Vaughn has pushed me forward in ways I never expected, but I am eternally thankful for. It's been an honor to have achieved something so special with them. I'll be forever grateful and proud of being a Duck. An incredible career for her. Obviously, last season was a season to remember for the women's golf program, finishing as runners-up just barely to a generational Stanford team, pushing them to the brink. But winning the Pac-12 championships, Cynthia Liu won the Pac-12 individual title on home turf, thank you, at Eugene Country Club. She was a 3-time first-team All-Pac-12 selection, the first in the program's history, and was named a WGCA second-team All-American last season in 2022. The amount of records that she's rewritten is just absolutely off the charts for Cynthia Liu. She set the career mark for scoring average, single-season birdies, single-season par 5 scoring, 54-hole tournament score. She's also tied single-season records across the board. She's in the top 10 or 11 and 12 different records. It's an incredible career for Cynthia Liu. With Coach Radley and Coach Monica Vaughn, they've really turned Oregon into a golf school. It's been incredible to see what they've accomplished. Obviously, the men's team winning an NCAA title a few years ago and the women's team coming up just short, but I imagine more great things in the future for Coach Radley and company as they continue to bring in great recruits, and that's partially thanks to Cynthia Liu and the foundation that she helped lay during her collegiate career here. So once again, congratulations to Cynthia Liu as she heads on to begin her professional career. Looking forward to following her, and she should be the first of many Ducks as a part of this crop, this flock that will be having very, very successful future pro careers ahead. All right, before we get off air, just a couple things to circle back as we pivot back to the diamond real quick, just talking about the postseason action, how you can watch, how you can listen this weekend as well. Heard from Joey Mack earlier this week that Pac-12 baseball tournament starts tomorrow, but more importantly, I hate to say that, but, focused on supers here, the Stillwater Super Regional. There you can see it right there. Thursday through Saturday, if necessary. Game 1 will be on Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. here in the Pacific Northwest. That'll be on ESPN2. Same thing for Friday as well. And then Saturday, if it comes down, 2 teams split the first 2 games. It is a best-of-3 series, and the winner will stay in Oklahoma for the College World Series taking place in Oklahoma City. Meanwhile, Pac-12 baseball tournament, as we've mentioned already, picks up tomorrow as the Ducks will be the final game of 3 games tomorrow. The Ducks starting things off at 7 p.m. to kick off their postseason journey, coming off of back-to-back wins against Utah to finish off the regular season. They'll face off against Cal, they faced earlier this year. Cal, the lowest-seeded team to make the Pac-12 tournament. 9 of the 11 teams in the conference make it. Colorado, the only team in the Pac-12 without a baseball program. They'll face off against the Golden Bears. They get an off day. Meanwhile, Stanford, who they'll face on Thursday, will be playing on Wednesday. So maybe a little bit of a tilted advantage when it comes to the schedule right there, as the Ducks will be able to prepare, hopefully coming off a win against Cal. They'll have a day off, do some scouting against Stanford, who will face off against Cal on Wednesday. And then Oregon versus Stanford once more on Thursday at 7 o'clock. You can listen to Joey Mack on the call for all of those games on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, and you can watch all the action, the entire Pac-12 baseball tournament on the Pac-12 networks. The Ducks make it out of pool play. They'll advance to the semis on Friday, and then, hopefully, fingers crossed, the championship game on Saturday, as the Ducks tournament resume looks pretty good right now, but of course, Coach Waz, hate to leave it up to chance, would love to lock it up and bring home a conference title to the Emerald Valley. Only show this week. That's it. It's our weekend now. I'm getting out of here and enjoying an early Memorial Day weekend. We hope you guys too as well. Cheering on the Ducks on the Diamond as well. Make sure you're watching, cheering along. Thanks to Joey Mack for letting me fill in. Signing off on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, this is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit